Welcome to our reflection for the feast of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. The theme of our reflection is 10 top lessons from the Holy Family. I repeat, 10 top lessons from the Holy Family. What is a family? In his apostolic exhortation, Familiaris Consortio, Pope John Paul II emphasized the idea of the family as a domestic church. The Pope stated that the Christian family is a specific revelation and realization of ecclesial communion and can be called a domestic church because it is a community of faith, love, and worship. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 2207, we learn that the family is the original cell of social life. The Church teaches us that the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph is a model for all families. As a model for all families, what lessons then can we learn from this Holy Family? 1. Obedience. In Matthew chapter 1 verse 24, Joseph displayed exemplary obedience. So when Joseph woke up, he married Mary as the angel of the Lord had told him to do, against his earlier plans to break the engagement privately. We can also learn obedience from Mary's fiat in Luke chapter 1 verse 38, where she said to Angel Gabriel, "I am the handmaid of the Lord, let it be done to me according to your word." Jesus Christ himself, even as God made man and in his divinity, obeyed his parents. In the Gospel of Luke chapter 2 verse 51, the Bible tells us that Jesus Christ went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. Jesus' obedience to his parents, Mary and Joseph, serve as example for all children to emulate, to obey their own parents. Remember that the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 12 says, "Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you." Lesson 2. Love, respect, and care for one another. The Holy Family is a model for all families because they loved and cared for each other. Jesus Christ, Mary, and Joseph lived in harmony and love. Joseph protected Mary and Jesus on their journey to Egypt, as we can find in Matthew chapter 2, verses 13 to 15. Mary took care of Jesus Christ and made sure he was safe, as we see in Luke chapter 2, verses 41 to 52. Every member of the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, all worked hard to take care of the family, to contribute their own quota for the good of everyone in the family. Mary took care of the home, Joseph was a carpenter, while Jesus also worked with his dad, Joseph, as a carpenter too. This teaches us the value of hard work as a sign of love to enable us to take good care of ourselves and others. Lesson 3. Importance of family prayer. The Holy Family's devotion to prayer and worship, as seen in their visits to the temple in Luke chapter 2 verses 22 to 24, encourages us to make out time for prayer and worship in our daily lives, even together as a family. The Holy Family was quite devoted to prayer, and we should emulate them. In Luke chapter 1 verse 13, Zechariah was always praying for his wife, Elizabeth, and the angel of the Lord visited and said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. God has heard your prayer, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son. You are to name him John." This is another example emulating the Holy Family, like the one of the Holy Family. Even in the Old Testament of the Bible, precisely in Genesis chapter 25, verse 21, the Word of God says, "Because Rebekah had no children, Isaac prayed to the Lord for her. The Lord answered his prayer, and Rebekah became pregnant and later had twin sons." Daddies can pray for mommies, mommies can pray for daddies, children can pray for their parents, parents can pray for their children. Let us cultivate the habit of family prayers. Whether we are together or we are living in different towns, we should always remember one another in prayers. Lesson 4. Forgiveness and reconciliation. The Holy Family also teaches us about forgiveness. When Joseph found out that Mary was going to have a baby, he could have been angry or upset, but instead he chose to forgive and trust in God's plan. Joseph's decision to divorce Mary quietly and his later acceptance of Mary and Jesus demonstrates forgiveness and mercy. We learn from his own attitude. Lesson 5. No need for blame game in the family. Joseph did not blame Mary for allowing Jesus to stay back in the temple, and Mary did not blame Joseph for being an uncaring father who did not know that his son was not following him home after the pilgrimage. Instead, both of them went together in search of the child Jesus, as we read in Luke chapter 2, verses 49 to 51. Let us wonder the book of Proverbs chapter 15, verse 4 warns us. The soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. Let us stop blame game in the family matters. Each person should work together to find a solution and not apportion blames on the other person. Lesson 6. Firm faith and trust in God's plan. Mary and Joseph had firm faith and trust in God's plan, even when it was difficult to do so. When Angel Gabriel told Mary she would have a baby, she said, "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord, let it be done to me according to your word," as in Luke chapter 1 verse 38. Joseph also obeyed God's plan when he was told to take Mary as his wife and name the baby Jesus in Matthew chapter 1 verses 20 to 24. Lesson 7. Trust in divine providence. In the Gospel of Matthew chapter 2 verses 13 to 15, the Holy Family trusted in God's providence. When they had to flee to Egypt, they trusted that God would provide for them there and take good care of them. When we face challenges in life or difficulties, you should trust that God will also equally take care of us, as he took care of the Holy Family in Egypt. Lesson 8. Humility and simplicity. The book of Sirach chapter 18 verses 17 to 18 states, "My child, conduct your affairs with humility, and you will be loved more than a giver of gifts." Humility is the foundation of all virtues, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. The Holy Family lived a humble and simple life. Jesus was born in a manger, as we read in Luke chapter 2 verse 7, and Mary and Joseph lived in a small house in Nazareth, as we also read in Luke chapter 2 verses 1 to 7. We should learn from Holy Family to be content with what we have and not dying of unnecessary anxiety to get what we do not have. Instead, we should be prioritizing spiritual values over material goods. Lesson 9. Sense of community and hospitality. The Holy Family had high sense of community and hospitality. Imagine how they interacted with others, such as their interaction with the shepherds, which we read in Luke chapter 2 verses 15 to 20, and also their interaction with the wise men from the east, the Magi, as we read in Matthew chapter 2 verses 1 to 12. This teaches us the importance of community life and hospitality as well. We learn to welcome others and to build our community. Lesson 10. Gratitude and cheerfulness. We should be grateful to God for the gift of one another in the family. Everyone is God's precious gift to the family. Everyone God has created has something to offer or contribute for the good of the family. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph all played different roles in the family. In cheerfulness and gratitude to God always, we should live in harmony and peace in our various families. Proverbs chapter 17 verse 22 says, "A cheerful heart is a good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." My dear friend, my dear brother, my dear sister, Thanks very much for listening to this reflection up to this moment. If you learned something from this reflection, kindly subscribe to this channel and do not forget to like and share the message with others. God bless you and happy feast of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.